Hi, dear students. So this is Dr. Zachary, teacher of personal research techniques for a master level. I'm doing this video to share with you what do we mean by data management. Then in my second video, I'll be talking about data analysis. I know you've never done any research before this one, and you don't know what you're going to do with data you have started collecting through the use of different research methods. So I'm dedicating this session particularly to show you how to manage the data you've gathered. Okay, so that's our slide, and let's head on together. So what do we mean by data management plan? What do we manage exactly? How is management different from analysis? In this video in particular, I'm going to talk about management of qualitative design. So what do we mean by qualitative different research designs? We have the APA, that's the phenomenological approach, the narrative inquiry, ethnographic research, case study, grounded theory. Then all of these can need digitization of data. Either you want to digitize the data or manage it manually. So the first type of organization of the data is called single level. What do we mean by single level organization? Given the example of 12 participants that you have probably, or you will probably conduct interviews with them, you can collect the 12 participants' data and represent them in a collective matter. That is, in a text, you describe what the participants have mentioned in a collective way, in a group way. That is, you base your analysis on themes of the content generated from the content, or your organization of the data from 12 participants can be presented in one file. That is, you open one document and you put all the data gathered for the 12 participants. You can discuss in your text the common points and the differences between the 12 participants, and you represent them based on these two main points. Multi-level organization is the second type of data management. These two approaches are adapted from business studies, because in business research, they collect a lot of data from customers and clients, and they wish to organize the data to be able to see the differences in the customers' differences or preferences. In the same example of the 12 participants that you are going to collect your data from, /interviews or surveys, one participant is interviewed more than once. If this is your case, then you can present each case in separate way. What do you mean by separate way? That is, you consider these 12 participants as 12 cases, and you present each case in a different text. That is, you put anonymously the name of the interviewee, and you dedicate all that block into what they have told you and how you have understood what they have mentioned in the interview. So transcription is based on one by one, not in collective way. To do the analysis on cases in a multi-level organization, it's not going to be that different. Also, you need to mention what is specific to your case, what they have mentioned that is different or in common with others. but not in the same text where you describe or transcribe your case. You leave until you finish transcription of case by case. Then you open a new text or a new section when you will be able to discuss the differences and the commonalities between your cases. So you dedicate each section for each case. Then after you finish the transcription and the organization of your cases in separate forms, you open a new text and you write the differences and the common points between them. That would enable you to generate the keywords that are replicated by each case. If case one mentions that they prefer peer feedback than teacher feedback, and case two mentions the same, imagine case 3 and 4 mentions that they prefer teacher feedback than peer feedback. In your text, you will be able to write that case 1 and case 2 agree on the same type of feedback, which is they prefer peer feedback. However, case 3 and 4 prefer teacher feedback, and so on. Let's carry on with data digitizing and storing the data. Before you do anything, you should decide how are you going to digitize the data. Are you going to use your computer for transcription? Are you going to use a specific software for data transcription, such as NVivo or other applications available online? What about storage? How are you going to store the data? In cloud, USB, or external driver? Make sure you have different copies of the data in different places, because if your computer went down, then you will lose everything. And you make sure from the beginning that your data is saved in different places. So you have to think carefully about to maximize security and confidentiality of files, because if you seek consent from participants that you're going to anonymize their data, their voices, their videos, their texts, and in a worst case scenario, losing the data will put them in vulnerability. That is, they will their lives and opinions and who they are will be exposed to others who are not who you are not wishing to share your data with. Pre-analysis. What do you analyze? After managing, organizing your cases, participants, thinking of how to save and secure the data, then it's time to do pre-analysis. We usually do pre-analysis when we clean the data. What do you mean by cleaning and memoing the data? You can, at early stage, read your data transcription and reread it. Try to understand what they have said. Rereading the data will help you to have preliminary ideas. You will also have to check accuracy by listening and reading the data, checking the spelling, checking punctuation if it's transcribed text. And do that immediately after data collection, otherwise you will forget these small details later on. So once the data is still fresh into your mind, do the cleaning and the memory. Data cleaning is also concerned with identification of weird or new words. As an EFL researcher, you might not be able to understand everything people say. Maybe as a master student, you would not be able to understand specific jargon or terminologies used by your participants in case of collecting data from teachers or researchers or people in political positions. In case you collect data using social media applications, maybe you need to analyze emojis. In case of face-to-face interview meetings, you might need to take notes of body language that you noted, and you also need to see during the cleaning stage what did each action you've taken into account means. Memoing. What do we mean by memoing? Memoing is not really cleaning, but it's about putting down the initial thoughts that you receive during the data collection. So once you do the data collection, keep notes on the side of your thoughts. What do you think of the data? How did you feel about the data? So these are your impressions as the researcher. You can also keep through these notes your reflexivity, which is concerned with your perceptions and how you can be in the other shoes. That is, do you think in a similar way as your participants, or you are different from them? Think of your positionality. Are you an insider or an outsider researcher? Are you making a participant observation or making an observation as an outsider to your participants? Memoing is concerned also with whether we agree or we disagree with data, how our experiences are different or similar from how our participants perceive their experiences. Do you feel the same like them? So there's a very nice example here about data cleaning, and you can read it through. So if the interviewee notes in the interview the noun in using using a pronoun, and because you are the leader of the interview and you know well your topic, you can understand what they mean by it. So in the text, you have to clarify for your reader / examiner what did the interviewee mean by it. So you can put in the same way. I've put this example between brackets to put what did it really refers to. So this can be also an example of data cleaning, that is where you have checked accuracy. Make sure that your data is understood by your readers. Okay, so in the next video, I'll talk about data analysis. Thank you very much.